Whether it's big endurance missions or hammering laps of your favorite single track, here's 20 of the best upgrades for your e-bike. If you're looking for more stopping power, then a set of these Maven brakes is a quick and easy upgrade for you. This is the strongest brake SRAM has ever made, but it also has impressive levels of modulation. They've achieved this by making all the pistons bigger and by reducing the caliper flex. So I've ridden these brakes on about 4 different bikes in the last year, and these are my key takeaways. The Mavens work well with SRAM's thicker HS2 rotors or the traditional centerline option. Rotor size and thickness have a big impact on raw power. Since these brakes are so strong, you'd be wise to start with a smaller rotor. Also, in terms of reliability, I'll point out that I've never experienced a floating bite point or brake fade with the Mavens. There's some pretty good deals going on Fox 38s right now, and this juicy Kashima coating adds a lot of bling to your bike. They are available in 160, 170 or 180 travel options. The 38 is well known for its stiff chassis that gives it a very direct and precise steering characteristic. Included in the box are 3 volume spacers which can be used to tinker with small bump performance and the ramp of the fork as it moves through the travel. Also cool are these lower leg bleeders that alleviate air buildup. Plus there's a pretty bang-on tuning guide that uncomplicates setup. In terms of external adjustability, there's high-speed compression, which amongst other things is useful to hold the fork higher in its travel on big hits. The low-speed compression will stop the fork from diving on the takeoff of jumps and in berms. Then for the ultimate puzzlers, it has both low-speed rebound and high-speed rebound adjustability that adds a lot of control options to calm the bike in rough surfaces. My setup tip with this damper is to ride it without volume spacers. I found it has quite a bit of compression in the standard tune, and on various bikes I've never felt the need to add volume spacers. Now if you're going for a Kashima fork, you may as well add a Kashima coated shock to your basket. This is the Fox Float X Factory Shock. I've ridden it on 4 different e-bikes this year, and there's 3 things I'll tell you. It's very easy to set up, doesn't lose air pressure, and overall is very reliable. It's available in metric or trunnion mounts in many size options and as a single compression and single rebound adjuster. There's also a firm lever that stiffens things up for maximum efficiency on long drags. Now, sore hands and wrists is something a lot of riders are experiencing on the trail, and in order to dampen some of those nasty vibrations that are triggering pains and inflammation, Leatt has developed these ReaFlex grips. The secret sauce inside these grips is the dual layering. The innermost layer, or core of the grip if you like, contains ReaFlex, a material developed by Leatt that absorbs vibrations. The outer layer has a soft rubber-like feel with a variable profile to maximize ergonomics. The idea behind the shapes is to reduce pressure points inside the palm, which then reduces hand fatigue. I've used them. They are not squishy, just mildly softer than most grips and feel incredible. On e-bikes, saving weight by going for a super light tire is not a smart move. Reason being, the extra weight of e-bikes places significantly more stress and strain on tires, and without a meaningful amount of rubber, you'll experience more pinch flats and cuts than you can shake a stick at. Trek's answer is the new Bontrager Brevard RSL SE. It's available in a 27.5 and 29er in 2.5 inch widths, with weights of 1250 and 1390 grams respectively. Inside the casing is a series of sidewall inserts, a butyl insert on the top of the tire, and a reinforced sheet of nylon that runs from bead to bead for maximum puncture protection. The center tread is a combination of spaced and adjoining treads with multi-directional sipes and shapes to emphasize braking power and climbing grip. The shoulder tread is very burly, shaped for maximum corner grip, and is a softer compound than the center tread. Earlier this year I did quite a few hours on the Brevards, and they are incredibly durable, roll really quickly, and have way more grip than anything I've ridden from the brand. Now, if you've got deep pockets and are looking for a very particular feel on the rear of your bike, then this Aria Shock by Extreme Shocks is worth looking into. With learnings from their work in Formula 1, this shock has a completely novel design. Key features include an externally adjustable hydraulic bottom-out control that has a dedicated piston that engages in the last 15% of the stroke, so you can fine-tune the way your bike behaves on those big hits. It also has 3 air springs. There's 2 positive air chambers and 1 large negative self-equalizing chamber. These twin positive chambers mean you can 100% independently tune the characteristics of the air spring in the top to mid-stroke and the mid-stroke to final ramp up. It's a beautiful piece of engineering. I hear they are fantastic, and because it has such good mid-stroke support, I think it will be particularly useful for bikes that have a bit of a linear kinematic, and for light riders who find themselves outside of the bracket of the standard shock tune, the OEM shock tune. If you've ever wondered what would be considered the Rolls-Royce of bike racks, look no further than the Thule Epos. It's available in a 2 or 3 bike version, is fully e-bike friendly with a load capacity of 30 kgs per bike. It accommodates long wheelbases and features wide tracks for wide tires. It's also super easy to use. The Thule Epos is a fully foldable unit that takes up minimal space in your garage. The arms fold down, so without bikes loaded, you can still have full boot access. With bikes mounted, the rack also tilts down for boot access. The retractable arms have a bike clamp that articulate into the most funkiest positions, so you can choose how you want to secure your bike. Couple things I really like. The bikes sit about 25 centimeters apart, so don't scratch each other. The frame clamps have a soft rubberized insert to look after your paintwork. It's also quite light and relatively easy to move about. The Thule Epos is a tow bar mounted rack that locks to the tow bar, and each bike clamp has a key lock to secure your loved ones in place. As an optional extra and for additional security, I'd highly recommend the Thule high grade lock. Working with lock gurus Epos, Thule developed this extra key lock system that is linked to a 1.5 meter long cable that effectively becomes a 4th locking mechanism securing your dream machines. Of course, if your current bike is completely clapped, you could also consider upgrading to a completely new rig. Earlier this year, Specialized introduced 2 new alloy models of their latest generation Levo 4. The new motor on Levo 4 is insanely smooth, and they've spent a lot of time refining the way it delivers power. It responds to rider input now in a more natural way. The battery size is a massive 840 watt hours. The motor has 101 Newton meters and 666 watts, making 5-hour rides very possible. There's 3-way geometry adjust, a side entry battery, and a storage box inside that side entry battery for spares and snacks. The Genie shock that delivers great small bump compliance and significant bottom mount resistance. The bike also has long dropper posts and SRAM Maven brakes with the no-nonsense Specialized gravity tires. So yes, at 25 and a bit kgs, it is a bit heavier, but you have to remember the frame is burlier than previous alloy models. It's a more powerful motor, has a massive battery, and all the componentry is beefy enough to handle any trail. Priced at less than half of what you'd pay for the S-Works, these alloy models have all the bells and whistles needed to go long and go fast, and they only weigh about 2 kilos more than the S-Works. I never thought shoes needed damping qualities until I tried these incredibly comfortable Bontrager Rallies. Developed in conjunction with Trek's factory race teams, the Bontrager Rally is a flat sole, cleated shoe available in 2 colorways and sizes 36 to 48. It has a synthetic leather upper, a lace and hook loop closure system, abrasion resistant coating, and at 435 grams with cleats is very light. The hidden power of these eMTB slippers is the damping of vibrations on rough roads and trails. I think it's got to do with the EVA midsole that absorbs much of the harsh feedback that would usually pass through the pedals and into your feet. Now, I've done over 2 years in this exact pair of shoes, and they are easily the most comfortable pair of shoes I've ever ridden in. If you have sensitive feet or just want to maximize comfort, these are an upgrade you won't regret. If you're looking for better shifting, then inside the new Shimano XT and XTR group sets is an e-bike specific derailleur you might want to consider. They provide wireless electronic shifting, but are wired to the bike's battery for constant power, which eliminates the need for a separate battery inside the rear derailleur. Now, I haven't ridden either of these new group sets, but on paper what I really like is the wedge-shaped design that reduces the chance of catching it on rocks, and the option of running a smaller cassette in 11 speed with a shorter cage derailleur. My hot tip, if you are considering this upgrade, there's very little difference between the XT and XTR mechs. looks like just the cage that is alloy instead of carbon. On eMTBs, we don't need carbon cages, so whilst money doesn't grow on trees, go for the XT level. If you're looking for more grip and comfort on rough terrain, then a set of Pirelli Scorpion DHM tires is the move. They are very beefy with a strong sidewall and deep tread pattern. They work well on hard pack and mildly loose conditions, in wet or dry, on the front and rear. The Pirellis have sufficient meat so you won't need to run inserts, but can still run lower pressures to maximize compliance, grip and comfort. They're available in a 27.5 and 29, and in over a year of testing and riding with these tires, I've yet to flat, pinch flat, burp, lose air, anything like that. I believe these are easily inside the top 3 tires on the market right now. A couple months ago, Ohlins released their updated 38. It's the RXF 38 M.3 and is available in 160, 170 and 180mm versions as a 29er only with a 44mm offset. It has 16 clicks of rebound, 16 clicks of low speed compression, 3 clicks of high speed compression with 2 air chambers. The key updates include a new lower friction surfacing on the stanchions for better small bump performance, and I hear it is insanely buttery. A bottom out spring booster to control end of stroke ramp, plus volume spaces for the ramp chamber. There are many things to like about this RXF 38, but most compelling is their twin tube design known as TTX technology that completely separates the compression and rebound damping. This has many benefits, mostly that the overall performance of the fork isn't compromised when tweaking a single setting. The other thing, across all the Ohlins products I've used, I've always noticed there's a huge range of adjustability. So all the clickers make a meaningful impact. Ohlins RXF 38, your chance to be like Super Bruni. In my book, dropper posts are probably the best invention for mountain bikes in the last 2 decades. Nowadays, just about every eMTB is sold with a dropper, but I often see they are not long enough. The benefits of getting the saddle down low is it frees up your thighs and hips to move more, which is part of the secret to riding better. Enter the Fox Transfer Dropper. It's available in 30.9, 31.6, 34.9 diameter, going from 120 up to 240 in drop. You can adjust the speed with which it extends. It has a low stack design, meaning it fits a wider range of bikes, and the total travel is adjustable in 5mm increments, so you can fully tweak it to suit the way you ride. Now, Fox also has a cable-free and wireless electronic version known as the Transfer Neo. For Neo, there are 4 travel options running from 100mm to 200mm in 25mm increments. It has the same low stack height, the same pressure adjustable valve to tweak speed, a very fast response time, and a super smooth feel about it. Main battery life is 30 to 40 hours of riding, which is easily more than a month for most riders. And if the lever battery dies, there's also a manual actuation option to get you home. Something that I really appreciate is when brands spend a fortune innovating in the name of rider safety. That's exactly what Trek has done with their Wavecel technology, which is this collapsible cellular structure that acts as a crumple zone during angled impacts to absorb and disperse the forces involved. This is the new Trek Rally helmet, and it has the latest version of Wavecel that is both lighter and has better airflow than the previous version. The Rally also has deeper rear coverage for more protection, plenty of vents around the helmet, it's goggle compatible, has a 3-position visor, storage for glasses, and a magnetic mount for GoPros or lights. It's available in 4 sizes and 4 colors. The fit is fantastic and styling is pretty slick. Best of all, it carries a 1-year crash replacement guarantee. That's a free replacement helmet for you in the event of a crash. They say your knees are probably the most complicated joint in your body. It's also often the first point of impact when things go wrong. So if your ride involves pushing your limits on technical terrain, then riding without knee protection is silly and borderline unlawful. These are Leatt's new knee guards. They're a slim, contoured fit, ventilate exceptionally well, and have the Wonder material 3DF that hardens on impact. I think they have enough protection for just about any trail, and the best part is you don't need to take your shoes off to put them on. A component that has a profound impact on the way your bike handles is the stem, and more importantly, the length of the stem. In fact, for mountain bikes, stem size matters immensely. Generally speaking, shorter is always better, but you must have sufficient reach in your frame in order to cut back on stem length. OneUp components have this simple and beautiful stem that they've aptly named the stem. It's a 35mm clamp size, available in a 50, 42 or 35mm length, which gives you plenty of options to nail that perfect fit to ride safer and faster. Another brilliant upgrade worth considering is the OneUp EDC Lite. EDC stands for Everyday Carry, and this EDC Lite is a 10-function multi-tool that installs into your steerer. On trails, it's a game changer for quick repairs and minor setup adjustments. Right, that's a wrap. Send us any questions and comments. Thanks for watching. See you on the trails.